policy failure. Talk about not delivering results to the American people. Spending $42 billion, yet not having one household connected to the internet. Mr. Carr, is that actually true? Not one home got internet?
That's correct. In Georgia alone, there's about 257,000 homes and businesses that lack internet today. So that's potentially millions of people that were supposed to be connected through this program. $42 billion was enough money to actually end the digital divide in this country with competent implementation. Unfortunately, we have not cleared that hurdle. We have stories out right now that describe the implementation as chaotic, dysfunction, delays, no guidance, finger pointing, messy, delayed rollout. That's just not getting the job done.
That's right, Mr. Carr. Many of those homes and businesses are actually in my district, and they're outraged. You know, we're over $35 trillion in debt. Biden-Harris administration has been in charge for nearly 4 years, but not one home and business has gotten internet. It's outrageous. This is so concerning to me. How can the woman, Kamala Harris, that is telling the country right now she wants to be president of the United States, actually ask for this job if she has not been able to deliver what the president assigned her to do, which was to take that $42 billion and provide internet to the American people? I find that hard to believe because I own a construction company, and when we get hired to do a job, guess what? We deliver it. Let me ask you a question. Under the Trump administration, in 2020, the FCC awarded Starlink $885 million to serve 642,925 homes and businesses that lacked internet. What happened to that program?
Well, last year, after President Biden went to the White House podium and said that Elon Musk is worth being looked into, the FCC abruptly reversed course and yanked back that award. And now in other programs, the ones that are actually connecting people into this administration, we're spending dollars on the pennies. Senator Cruz recently had a report showing that in some cases we're spending $100,000 per home for broadband, when with that Starlink deal, it was 13.
More than 42 million people in our country do not have high-speed internet. Far too many of our fellow Americans simply cannot afford the cost of a high-speed internet plan, and too many others do not even have access to such a plan. Consider most of the households in our nation that have high-speed internet receive it through fiber optic cables. However, there are millions of homes around our nation, most of which are in rural areas, that are not connected by fiber optic cables. That means those households have to rely on satellite internet or dial-up plans, which are often slower, less reliable, and more expensive. Or it means they have to go without access to the internet altogether. And this community, which is why I am here, is all too familiar with these challenges, though this is a community that is filled with extraordinary leaders. 30% of the households here in St. Landry Parish do not have high-speed internet. Around our country then, including here, that means students are sitting in fast food restaurant parking lots, doing their homework over public Wi-Fi, because that is the only place they can receive access. It means seniors are seeing doctors and medical professionals during their telemedicine visits in local public libraries. Now just imagine what that means. That you're sitting there talking with your medical health professional surrounded by people. And what that might do to impede your ability to share your concerns in a way that you feel safe. Or if you know that's the only way you can get access, how that might deter you even trying to connect. And it means that so many people are shut off from economic opportunity. Just think about how having access to high-speed internet enables workers to take on remote work jobs. It allows companies to find talent wherever it might be. It opens up new markets to small businesses and allows entrepreneurs to collaborate and to create. As I said, in the 21st century, high-speed internet is a necessity. And so our administration is taking action. Last month, our administration announced we are distributing $277 million in grants to connect 13 communities from across our nation with high-speed internet. Last month, our administration announced we are distributing $277 million in grants to connect 13 communities from across our nation with high-speed internet. Communities in Maine, in Kentucky, Washington, Georgia, Texas, and here in Louisiana. In this community, we will invest nearly $30 million to connect more than 22,000 households to the fiber optic network.
Residents in rural America are eager to access high-speed internet under a $42.5 billion federal modernization program. But not a single home or business has been connected to new broadband networks nearly 3 years after President Biden signed the funding into law. Lawmakers and internet companies blame the slow rollout on several factors: burdensome requirements for obtaining funds, climate change mandates, preferences for hiring union workers, and the requirement that eligible companies prioritize the employment of justice-impacted people with criminal records to install broadband equipment. The slow pace of funding allocation and compliance will push the project start dates for modernizing rural internet access to 2025 and 2026. According to the FCC, the program's goal of providing high-speed internet to most underserved areas will not be fully realized until 2030, 9 years after its enactment. Rural areas have been waiting a long time for broadband service. Many rely on slow internet that travels over copper lines and are unable to transmit large amounts of data. Some areas have no internet at all. As of this month, 9 states and the District of Columbia have been approved for the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. All 56 states and territories have submitted initial proposals seeking a portion of the $42.5 billion. President Biden signed the funding into law in November 2021 as part of the $1.2 trillion Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. To read more, visit WashingtonTimes.com.